So guys, so here's me talking to Ash about Monster Zone. So our Monster Zone sale is on 12/12. Let's see what he has to say about our strategy, about the sale, about the monsters. So here's me talking to Ash. So in terms of a metaverse, now we have Monster Zone coming out soon, right? On 12/12.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think of the experience users can have when they enter the Monster Zone? What do you think that they should expect?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I always say about what's a monster? Like, a monster is a creature we just don't understand.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I've said, you know. So like, I guess it's quite broad. So we deliberately kept it quite broad.
Yeah.
You know, we're known for monsters, right? We had the king of monsters. We had Godzilla. We had Kong. We had all of that. So we wanted to bring what's best about that and bring what's best about gaming to this space, you know. So it's really fun. So Cardano Island was like, you know, the first island. It was very much, you know, about the structures, the buildings, and that. And then we thought, okay, in Virtua Island, we want to have a little bit of fun first. We thought to ourselves, well, why don't we have like these cool creatures, and these cool sort of visuals. But imagine you were kind of living in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
You know, and we thought, oh, that's cool. So the idea is that you have like this really sort of mythical, primal sort of space that's a part of Virtua Island, and the land has unique resources that do something new. And then you're gonna have you know, monster drops, different sorts of creature drops, and monsters can be like, you know, big Goliaths.
Which Goliath is, I think, the first drop. Yeah.
These huge monsters that are linked to the elements of Monster Island, because you've got like these different elements. So linked to that, you're also going to have cool other creatures too. So, you know, you can think about mutants, the undead, you know, maybe some movie IPs in there as well. But all that sort of cool stuff brought together in this one place.
We call all of them monsters.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's some stuff that clearly isn't, but this is about like living creatures that just not right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the Monster Zone is. And the cool thing is we want people to participate in it. So, you know, any of these drops, anyone in Monster Zone gets to participate in those drops as well. So, you know, we have a pool a rewards pool that people can be part of as well if they're owning Monster Land. So, you know, the value that they derive from it is that, plus all the other stuff that you would normally have. And then later on down the line, we're going to have like, just like a miner can do fusion with certain items, we're going to have a different bot that works with creatures that you can do breeding with, and then you can create new monsters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really, that bit is super gamified, super fun. It takes like, you know, the best of, you know, the Pokemon evolution and all that kind of stuff. So those sort of mechanics will be coming into that part of the world.
Wow.
With all the typical metaverse benefits. That,
can someone actually enter the space without just to explore?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, and then they can decide, yeah, I like this.
Yeah, so the idea is so the way in which Monster Zone is structured, the condos and the villas, cribs, are all on what we call the edge zone. So they're on the outside, and in the middle you've got this huge monster park.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll be able to go into that monster park later on. There'll be some interesting stuff that's happening there. So it's another area for you to be able to explore. And then we'll have monster events as well that anyone just with a bot will be able to participate in.
You know, one of the cool things I've seen in the briefs is that someone can ride a monster at some point.
Yeah. We put that in the brief. I really wanted that. You know, I remember Avatar and the guy flying on. Yeah. So all that sort of stuff, you know, I think is cool. You know, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I love dragons and all that kind of stuff. So there's no reason and none of that stuff won't emerge there. We might discover a dragon egg or something, you know. And then that land also has something called, so the land in Monster Zone has a new thing in it that we haven't used before or haven't shown before, are things called relics. Relics are something that are scattered across Virtua Island, which are items that we know their names, we don't know what they do. Yeah. And those things, those relics, any bot that can interact with land items will be able to activate, and there'll be different things that can happen. Yeah.
Okay. Before we end, I want to ask, I don't think we've mentioned this in any of the podcasts, or I don't know if you have in the AMAs. I've seen something called a battle zone. Can we talk about that a bit? We have to. We
haven't super fleshed some of that out, but yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be. I think that people love that sort of stuff.
Man, I think look, this is why you guys should get in the land sales, because a battle zone is coming in the future, and you're hearing it right now over here.
Yeah. So look, it's all about games. It's all about having those game sort of experiences, and what part of what we're working on is some really interesting stuff to integrate games, more games from Web 2 into Virtua, and battle and that competitive element is going to be a big part of it.
So I could see monsters battling something
or other, or each other. Yeah. I think that'd be quite.
That'd be so cool, man.
I know. I'm excited for it, man. There's so much. Just with Monster Zone, there's a ton. I think we can let some of our artists go a bit wild, go a bit nuts with some of the stuff that's coming, and those drops are going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. And we are talking to a few artists as well.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is that, look, typically what we see in our space is that a project drops, and then it's kind of, we have to wait to see what's going to happen. But anything that we're going to do is going to be within the scope of Virtua Prime, right? So people are going to think, the first question people are going to ask is, right, this is cool, but how is it going to work in the metaverse?
Correct.
So it always has both of those layers as part of it.
Yeah.
And that's something to look out for on all of our generative stuff, all the stuff that we're bringing. There's always going to be that piece.
Yeah.
And I think that it answers the why, doesn't it? Basically, you don't have to make these promises. It's something that comes into this new platform, and I say almost look at it as a DLC for this great space, but it's something that you own. So yeah, very cool.